All right, running slightly late, and I haven't made my first cocktail, so I'm going to make a video and, get myself started, I guess, before it gets crowded in here. So I might set that. I'm not even set up to do it. Oh, Jesus. God damn it. I forgot something else. Right. Okay, this is just going to take me 30 seconds and no one's watching anyway. Oh, goodness me. Hey, Strictly Sega, how you doing? I'd forgotten something. I had to go back and get it. Right. Open this bottle of ginger ale. There we go. All right, that's ready. Don't have any sugar syrup. I'm probably going to want that. God damn it, why do I keep forgetting things? Okay, I won't do it now. Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks, man. Thank you for asking. So I'm glad to see you out about. Fucking power. I don't have anything. Oh, deep sigh. Sit down. What the hell is wrong with me? Okay. Gonna go out for another 30 seconds. I don't have any of my cameras here. Got a clown show am I running here, honestly. Tell you what, at about 7 o'clock, I had this frame of mind. I was going to be really early and ready and shit. And then I didn't do anything. So gosh darn it. Yeah, I gotta do it before everyone gets it. Okay. I want this little GoPro. Set them up. Set them up, set them up. Come on, there we go. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. Get that in there. Hey, Greg, how you going? Just got to make a very quick cocktail. Barely counts as a cocktail, really. More of a mixed drink, but I'm going to make it. Right, get this camera ready. Get ready, because here I come now. Oh, this is so annoying. It's all right. Okay. Let's do this. Just have to decide what whiskey I want. I know I want a strong whiskey. Okay, which one's this? Stout cask. Let me see, which one's this? Good whiskey. Just deciding on these. I think a rye. Yeah, I'm going with a rye whiskey. To go with the ginger ale spiciness. Ginger ale, this, and bitters. Angostura bitters. All right. Here we go. It's all coming together. Let's get the light over here for the making of. Now, framing of the GoPro. Oh, I guessed about right with the framing. Okay. All right. Right. Put his ass away. Okie dokie. Why is my phone? It's fucking U-Foods. It still always gets me at the start of a Thursday night stream. U-Foods texts me and I go, "Who's that?" It's U-Foods. All right, I've just decided how I'm making this. 45 mil. Oh man, God, that smells good. And Angostura bitters. All right. That's that done. Put this aside for a while. Oh God. Okay, see, strictly Sega, I don't know if you're being ironic or if you don't know what Euphrates is, because it's become a cliche of things that I say. Look, I'll just take it that you are sincerely asking what's UFoods. It's a food delivery service. Calorie controlled meals. I'm trying to lose weight. And they deliver it on a Friday, and they always text me on Thursday night saying, okay, you're serious. No, you don't have to be sorry. That's okay. They text me on Thursdays. And it always catches me off guard. Who's texting me? And it's always UFoods. It became a running joke. Closer to HelloFresh than DoorDash. These are actually pre-made meals that you microwave. Right, I'm going to do my talky bit now. I'll help if I turn the camera on. Be talking to the ether. Okay. That looks good. That looks good. That's weird. Okay. G'day, cocktail lovers. Sometimes I pick a... What am I doing? G'day, cocktail lovers. Sometimes I pick a cocktail to try based on its name. Who am I kidding? I regularly choose a cocktail to try based on its name. This is called a horse's neck with a kick. Saw that name, I had to try it. Apparently, a horse's neck is a non-alcoholic drink, ginger ale or ginger beer and Angostura bitters. Give it a kick with some whiskey. It's so simple, I built it in the glass. In a nice filled glass, put 45 mils or 1.5 ounces of the whiskey of your choice, and then you top that with your favorite ginger ale or ginger beer. Give it a little bit of a stir to integrate, and then put a couple of dashes of Angostura bitters on the top. I like the way the bitters gradually works its way through, and ooh, this is a refreshing little drink, and it's got a kick. Cheers. Yeah, one take, motherfuckers. Who's the person who keeps saying, I do millions of takes? Me! It's me! I'm always deriding myself for getting tongue-tied. Very few people are as harsh on me as I am on myself. Which is why it was always funny to me, the haters, thinking they were going to upset me. And it's like, motherfucker, you are not going to say anything worse to me than I say to myself. And I'll turn that off for now, too. Okay. Whew. Oh, sorry, just strictly saying, Jenny Craig. Look, I've never had Jenny Craig. I thought Jenny Craig was just guidelines and told you what to do. I don't know if they pre-make meals for you. I've never had the thing. An equivalent one I've had, and I actually have some in the freezer, is Light and Easy. But yeah, it's pre-packaged meals. So it's controlled portion size and calorie intake. And it's working. I'm doing a slow and steady improvement. Which, again, the whole weight loss thing is extremely fraught, and I don't like to go on it much because it's a very loaded thing for a lot of people, but I'm making choices for myself based on some blood tests I had and also how fucked my knees are. It would work well for me. Bum Fungus on the Twitches. How are you doing this evening, sir? And yes, that's a whole thing. Strictly Sega, the old metabolism slowing down as I get older. Yeah, that's what I've been talking about. COVID kilos. Yeah, as I've said before, I had the funny thing. So, First year COVID, bad, put on a lot of weight. Second year COVID, good, lost all that weight. Third year COVID, bad, put half of that back on. This is fourth year. I'm working on it being a good year again. You don't like the metal straws, Trickly Sega, in this sort of modern, ecologically sound era? I'm using the metal straw. Topping up, just gonna use up my ginger ale. So, yes, bum fungus, that's my answer. Calorie controlled meal. Not like protein bars, like proper meals. Things you microwave. Also, I'm super fucking lazy. So microwaving meals is a really good thing for me. Yeah, no, that's a completely legit thing, as Tricky say. Particularly the really, like McDonald's used to have really serious plastic straws, particularly for the thick shakes. They're absolutely reusable. You can also get, well, they're not really glass, although I suppose you can get glass straws as well. There's sort of a polymer type thing that looks like glass. And you can, of course, get silicone straws too. I've got some silicone straws. They're weird. The silicone straws are weird. But yeah, I had some Macca straws for a long time because they are so sturdy. And you can wash them and reuse them so many times. I think I've used them all up now. I don't think there's any of them left. So I've got. Where did I get? I don't think I bought. Oh, you know what? I legit think the metal straws came with some booze I ordered one time. Or. Yeah, I have a vague memory that I didn't just go out and buy metal straws, that they were with something. But this old brain of mine doesn't really remember everything, so sometimes we forget, and we just keep going on. No matter how old we get. Zem Creations, how are you doing this evening? Good to see you. Oh, hey, you've asked a question. All right, I'm going to share the design Museum Creations is doing for me at the moment, which I do like the logo. I'll actually share it and try and explain what I'm talking about. Where are we? And also just to show it off so people can see it. Okay. So what I was talking about, there you go, look, I've zoomed right in. It's just like you've got a hard line around the lips. I was just interested in seeing what it would look like if there wasn't a hard line around the lips. And it was just like the color difference between the lips and the skin on the face. But I like it. I love how you've made my hair and beard look much neater than they actually look in real life. And I love the cocktail glasses, the eye in cocktails. It's Tricky Sega. It's good, isn't it? It's really good. So I was hoping, like, that's a beautiful logo. You probably know the dimensions of a YouTube banner. I was hoping to have one also that was like the length of the dimensions of a YouTube banner. But anyway, we can talk about that. But yeah, it is very cool. I like it. So this drink's growing on me, by the way, strictly so. You said it looked like a yummy looking drink. Very simple. Whiskey, ginger ale, Angostura bitters. It's quite nice. I mean, it's the middle of fucking winter here, and I'm drinking this incredibly summery drink, things stacked with ice. But it just caught my eye. Even what I was saying for the talky bit was 100% true. I saw a cocktail listed called Horse's Neck with a Kick, and I was like, that's a really cool name. What drink is that? I need to know what drink that is because it sounds cool. I get what you're saying, Ms. M. Creations, and I understand exactly why you did the lip outline. If it's not too big a deal, because you may well be right. When I see it without the outline, I might go, no, it was better with the outline. So I'm hoping this is not a big deal. But that was the one thing I thought. I was just, yeah, I really want to see what it looks like without the outline on the lips. Maybe I'm a complete idiot for even asking for it, but yeah, I'm just keen to see what it looks like. But it is overall pretty dang cool. Yeah, food is another one. Absolutely. So many good recipes online. And I do love the YouTube algorithm. You watch one cooking video, then they'll give you a bunch more. No martini today. Probably not a martini today because it's still work tomorrow. Tomorrow night, all bets are off because, long stream and whatnot. I wanted to make a couple of short videos, neither of which involve a martini. And I have a new whiskey to taste. So, given that I've got to front up in some form for work tomorrow, I probably won't have a martini as well. It'll be cakes. But I've got these little things. I haven't even looked at them. An online shop was having a sale, and they said, like, we found all this stuff in storage that we forgot we had, and now we want to get rid of it, and so we'll sell it really cheap. There's one more over there. There's 6 of these little things, little 30 ml samples of Australian spirits. And they're a mystery to me. I haven't looked at what they are. I was thinking it might make an interesting video if I pour those like into a glass and taste them, like without even knowing what spirit they are, and first seeing if I can guess what spirit they are and seeing which one I like most. But then again, maybe people don't care. I don't know. Because last time I did blind tasting for my cocktail channel, it didn't get that many views, which suggests to me the people who watch me want to see cocktails. They don't want to see me like doing whiskey comparisons. And that's cool. And there's a thing I need to know. You saw Fast X. Oh, nice. So you think they're back on form. I'm not a Fast and Furious person, but yeah, if you're into it, that's good. Oh, look, and I completely understand that. I haven't been to the cinema since Dune Part 1 came out. And as I've said multiple times, Dune Part 2 might be the next time I go to cinema. That's COVID concerns for me, being in a enclosed space with recirculated air and lots of people, a little unsettling. But at home on TV, I did watch Triangle of Sadness the other day, which was fun and weird. And it's like rich people getting what they deserve. And with that, fucking Titanic submersible going missing. It seems topical. I watched Triangle of Sadness the day before that submersible with the billionaires on it went missing. And yeah, now bad things happening to rich people. It seems like topical. There's another movie that's basically, at my understanding, I haven't seen it. I've been meaning to watch it. Ray Fiennes in the lead. It's called The Menu. I think that's another bad things happening to rich people. So, actually, that is a pretty good trick, Strictly Sega. Go see movie night toward the ends of its run. I think I'll go gold class because there's a limited number of people in a gold class cinema. Still, I will be pissed off if I go out to the movies and come down with COVID. And there's fucking lot of it about at the moment. I did get my booster. I also got my flu shot because this is supposed to be quite a bad flu season. All right. I have to decide. I'm going to make one more short video. And I've got a few lined up. A few that I'm quite interested in trying again, just on the name. I think a French version of the last word, which translates as dernier mot. Also got my eye on one called The Blood of My Enemies. That just... that's such a cool name. Another one I'm interested in making is called Bosun Bird. But that's also sort of last word adjacent. So I'm actually kind of leaning towards making Dernier Mot and Blood of My Enemies. I'm sorry, that's just such a funny name for a drink. Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying about gold class. Yes, and that's me, dude. I do that. I literally do that. I get food during the movie. And yeah, I can see that being a distraction. Absolutely. But, but even just, regular cinemas, people can be dicks. There can be distractions all over the place. Oh, okay. This is your ranking. Hoyt's Excess Cinemas, Dolby Digital, 7 extra subwoofers, 25% bigger screen, object-oriented sound. Dang. I think I've been in one of those as well. Yeah. I do like big screens, I have to admit. All right, that's probably all of that. Okay, if I'm going to make this, I've got to go and get Puntamez. Yeah, again, this is super simple. All right. I'm going to make that one because it's just really... Ha ha! You saw Fury, you walked out shaking. I did see Fury in the cinema. As I was mentioning the other night, I do actually like war films. And Fury had some good stuff in it. I don't know what it was. It didn't quite do it for me. Hey, Safa, how you doing? You went to the popcorn seller to shake hands to thank him. Confused look and face you'll always remember. Nice. Oh, good. I was just thinking about memorable things. Going way back, Cloverfield. Trying to remember Cloverfield. I saw that in the cinema, and if you've never seen it, it's a lot of handheld shit, really janky handheld shit, and it makes some people motion sick. And when I went into the cinema to see it, just at the entrance of the cinema on the carpet, the staff were putting sawdust down where someone had thrown up. So what had clearly happened, someone in the previous screening had stuck it out for as long as they could, and then they went, oh no, I'm definitely going to throw up. And they made a run for the loos, and they didn't make it. They, just as they got to the doors, it cut loose, and it was being covered with sawdust. Oh my God. Oh no, potential motion sickness. Oh, you think it was the extra sound? Yeah, I think I only saw Fury in a normal cinema. Yeah, so many years ago, I couldn't be sure. I certainly didn't dislike the film. It had some really good stuff in it, but yeah, it just overall, I guess it didn't really hit me in a big way. So with only one eye, hard enough to see the whole screen. Hate shaky cams. Yeah, well, Cloverfield was the most full-on shaky cam movie since the Blair Witch Project, really, because it was supposed to be found footage, and it was extremely cleverly done. It's always interesting and a challenge to see what people do with a found footage movie, and yeah. I see. I don't even remember Quantum of Solace. You're saying it was a real shaky cam? Well, they had no excuse. They were just, that was a style thing they were going for. All right, so if I saw Spider Verse, you still prefer the first? I think there is a lot of split opinion. A lot of people love two and think it's better than one. Uh, I haven't seen two yet. I thought one was really good, and I was really hoping to see more animation done in that style. Um, I really enjoyed it. Okay, so I am going to disappear again for a minute. I just have to get in a bottle. This is like, I'm not even gonna. Well, I put elevator. It's going to be 30 seconds. It's going to be 30 seconds. I'll be back. Oh. All right, Puntamez. That's what I had to go and get. Okay, let's. Sorry, you're saying does Spider Verse 1 leave it open for Spider Verse 2? God, I have to remember. I mean, they certainly made it easy to do a sequel. I'm not sure if Spider-Verse 2 is meant to follow exactly on, or if there's a delay or whatever. Okay. Gonna set up to do this. This one will also be quick because it's really straightforward. Blood of my enemies. Rum, Amaro, Montenegro, Puntamez. Nice. 1 ounce each. Easy. Right. Time to put some stuff away. You can go in there. You can go back here. Aged rum. Wait. Ooh, I'm in deep in what rum? What rum? What rum? What rum? Yeah, okay. I got this one. I'll use this one. Buntes, rum, and Amaro Montenegro is in here. That is the Amaro Montenegro. There it is. Alright. Amaro Montenegro. Dun, 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 dun. Going to make this. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. I need to put my bloody GoPro back here. We'll go back about there. Let's go about here. I'll bring this light in. Okay, this one's going to be very quick because it's extremely simple. I'm just going to look something up while we're doing this. No, okay. It was on... Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, no, wait. I actually made a note of it. Possessed by spirits. Possessed by spirits. All right, that's just bringing up supernatural stuff. If I add... cocktails. That's them. Possessedbyspirits.com. Kentucky Buck. Is that it? No, that's a full Windsor. Heartless Bastard. Great names for cocktails. Blood of My Enemies. Strain over ice. All right. Just wanted to get the serving suggestion. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Do that a little bit. All right. So first, I will make this. Okay. Oops. Slightly heavy pour on the rum. Whoop, that's the first time that's been opened. Right. Let's do this and start this up. Oops, backwash. Very dark, and Amaro Montenegro. All right, putting some ice in there. Put a bit more ice in, I think. Sorry, we got. Just gonna get one more thing ready. Okay. Okay. Man, that's good. What's that look like? It's good about there. All right. So that's that. Now do this. Tilt that up there. All these things. Talking about part one, part two. The Mission Impossible, which is supposed to be the last Mission Impossible films of part one, part two, if I remember. Take a picture while I think of it, because I didn't get a picture of the other one, because I wasn't thinking. All right. Turn the audio recorder on, turn the video recorder on. That's ready. This ready, that's ready. And off to the races. Record button's weird on the camera at the moment. G'day, cocktail lovers. I'm drinking the blood of my enemies. And it tastes good. Rich, robust, a little bit herbal. Comes from a group known as Possessed by Spirits, and you make it like this. In our mixing glass, we put... In a mixing glass, we put 1 ounce or 30 mils of an aged rum. Follow that with 1 ounce or 30 mils of Puntanes, or another full-bodied vermouth. And finally, 1 ounce or 30 mils of Amaro Montenegro. We add ice to the glass and then stir that for 20 to 25 seconds to chill and dilute the drink, and then strain that into a rocks glass over a big chunk of ice. Easy as that, and you too can be drinking the blood of my enemies. Cheers. Honestly, it's a tad bitter. And I brought some... All right, I'm going to switch a couple things off. No more making videos tonight. Okay, that's it for making videos. So I'll bring and clear the decks. Turn that off. Bring my chair back around. Actually, you know what? Before I sit... Just going to put teeny bit of sugar syrup in there. And stir it again. This here, on this here, pull a chair around here. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to garnish this sucker. Where's my cherries? Oh, hell. I need to remember to check tomorrow. Do I have a spare jar of cherries? Because I might not. Don't want to run out of cherries. Love my cherries. All right. Bit of orange peel for my drink. Because that's the way. I like it. Oops. Jesus. That was a bit wild. Put some orange peel in there. Gonna go and skewer a cherry. Stabby, stabby. Actually, so think about cherries. I'm thinking if I do need to buy more cherries, I know an online store that sells them for a good price, and they also emailed me with an offer with this bottle of whiskey, bourbon, at a really good price. And I was like, yeah, but I don't need it. It was an American whiskey. It was an aged Wild Turkey 101 proof, which I'm reasonably sure is going to be a really good whiskey. But it's like, it's bourbon. I don't need it. And it was somewhat of an effort of willpower to not get it. I'm in my head now. I think, you know what? If I have to go on and get some more of my cherries to make sure I don't run out, and that site is still doing a good price on the cherries, fuck it. I'm probably going to get that bottle of whiskey too. I'm a bad person with no willpower. Actually, I have some willpower because I didn't buy it the first time I saw it. And it might be sold out because it was a really freaking good deal. It might have sold out. So that's it. That needed just a little bit of sugar syrup. So, yep. Safa, the clown is down. Not making any more videos. I might keep that. And that's Discord. I'll keep Discord happening. Actually, I might leave that there too. Okay. So this must be close that. Safa, if I didn't drink, I'd be rich. I'd also probably be at least 10 kilos lighter, quite honestly. But also, I'd be enjoying life less. So that's my big thing. I'm not rich, but I'm not poor, and I'm happy is the big thing. That's okay. That's just reminded me of a thing I've said a couple of times. I've been thinking of doing some fireside chat type videos for this channel. A reinvention of the Angry Aussie channel rather than being shouty, because I just don't want to do that anymore. And because I am worried about men, particularly young men, but just the sort of toxic shit that men are being tricked into going for, because, shit in life is difficult. It can be very easy and legitimate as a man to feel people aren't taking seriously that I have actual, real, genuine problems. And that can be completely legitimate. And I just wanted to have calm talk about, don't buy into this bullshit, this Andrew Tate alpha male bullshit, because it's a lie and it's a con. And their message can be summarized as, you should be a fucking piece of shit to everyone because then you'll be rich. And it's like, you won't be happy. You won't have a good life. You won't have good relationships. Yeah, you'll just be bitter and twisted and angry. You may well make money by fucking over other people, but you're fucking over other people. Strictly say that's an unfortunate and not particularly uncommon arrangement. I feel very lucky in my current relationship with Mrs. Angry because I can be completely open with her, and she's extremely supportive. But and that's an idea I want to explore. It can definitely be absolutely legitimate as a man to just go, women just don't understand why this is a problem for me. So it's oof. And I want to say it gently, but also not sparing people's like, because I tell you one line of argument that I think is complete horseshit. People say like, "Oh, you know why these young men are gravitating towards these hard right psychopaths? Because the hard right psychopaths embrace them and tell them they're right, and everything they ever do is good." And it's like, yes, because they want to exploit them and use them as cannon fodder. And it's like, yeah, but the left is harsh and tells them they're wrong. And I go, you know what? If you're wrong, if you're being a piece of shit, I am going to tell you, you are being a piece of shit. Uh, I refuse to mollycoddle someone because it's like, oh, we need allies on our side. It's like, no, no, no. If someone is being a piece of shit, I'm going to call out you're being a piece of shit. And if they give off a vibe that they're just unreachable, I'm going to put zero fucking effort into reaching them, quite honestly. Oh shit, no, strictly Sega. That's everyone post boomer. That was a big Gen X thing. I think it's bigger for millennials, actually. But yeah, it was kind of like you sold this story of, as a man, this is what you should be doing, this is where you should be. And then the fucking boomers and older, particularly since the 80s, like think Reagan, Thatcher, the that era completely destroyed like the social safety net, the idea of community, society, basic decency, and all in the worship of corporate profit. And uh, so things like, in the 50s, a man on an average job, like a manual labor job or a teacher or anything, they earned enough to support a family, own a home, and have this nice, comfortable life. That has been less and less possible since the 80s. And that's because of the neoliberals and the conservatives structured stuff to massively benefit the tiny minority and fuck everyone else over. Oh, see, here's the thing. Friends in your 20s. I don't talk to anyone from my 20s. So, well, I'm glad we're here for you, quite honestly. But yeah, and that was literally the intention of these live streams, because during COVID, I was like, oh man, the world's gone fucking crazy. What the fuck? What is happening? God, I think we need a chill space. I think we just need a chill space. And that was the whole purpose of these live streams. Yeah, Safa, people have multiple jobs, can't get ahead, can't get a home. The system has been geared against us. And here's what disturbs me. you get these right wingers who tap into that level of resentment, but their solution is a fucking lie. This individualism and fuck other people over. It's like, no, we only get ahead as a community, as a society. And I don't say like I don't mean like communists. I'm not a communist and never have been, but a system that is overwhelmingly geared to fuck over 80% of the population, reward 1% of the population and leave the other, around about 20% just surviving, that's fucking ripe for revolution right there. That always does my head in when someone mentions how they've been watching for, the 15 years or more. But yeah. Yeah, no, that's me, Safa, definitely. Well, I mean, again, right wingers, if I start professing my actual deeply held views, they would absolutely call me a communist. And I was like, well, I would be okay with a system that's basically what we have now in a capitalist system if everyone involved in creating wealth was actually paid properly. Like, you should have a home. It's that simple. And this is the basic human needs: food, clothing, and shelter. The idea that a culture that is so affluent would leave people without food, clothing, and shelter is a fucking farce. We've just been brainwashed that they need to earn it. It's like, fucking what? And I don't even mean, even people who are working can't do it. And, you get these fuckheads who say, I'm a billionaire, I'm a self-made man. It's like, no, they exploited somewhere between thousands and millions of people to get their wealth until everyone involved in creating the wealth that they claim is properly looked after. And like I said, they should have more than adequate food, clothing, and shelter. Fucking jail the oligarchs is all I'm saying. Just fucking jail them. And it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that it's just everything's wrong. When you look at the prison system and how that's not about protecting society, it is perversely about perpetuating inequality, and not so much in Australia, but definitely in America, where prisoners can be literal slave labor. It's about profit. It's fucking terrifying. Yeah, well, see, the Russian 80s oligarchs, that's an almost inevitable thing, like the rapid change that Russia went through. But when you look at centuries of Russian history, it's like strongman rule. It was the czars, it was the communists who just ruled ruthlessly. So when communism broke down, it was ripe for, we're going to liberalize a bit and have capitalist type approach. It was ripe for ruthless people to swoop in and steal and exploit. Oh yeah, and I knew what you meant, Safa, about you meant post-Soviet oligarchs. So yeah, I knew what you meant, man. I'd be more than willing to be corrected by someone who actually knows Russian history and society. But from my outside view, it seems to be a country that just really leans toward wanting an authoritarian to run it. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure with the Australian prison system, Safa, but the American system is literally constitutionally slavery. Oh, well, again, yeah, strictly Sega, the quite early on in the Russian Revolution, ruthless, power-hungry people took control and fucked everything. But yeah, pre that, the Tsars were fucking psychopaths and fucked people over. Then it didn't take that long for the communists to devolve into authoritarian dictators and just ruin the lives of so many people, kill millions when you take into account the famine elements as well. And so to me, it's not at all surprising when power got a bit less centralized and things were liberalized. Again, ruthless people swooped in and took control of elements, from a capitalistic point of view. But they all seem to have a problem with depression and jumping out of windows. Weirdly, just after they criticized Putin. Who knew? Who knew that criticizing Putin made you so depressed you jumped out windows? But it happens a lot. Okay, look, I'm just going out on a limb. That cocktail's a better name than it is a cocktail. Blood of My Enemies. It's not going on my favorites list. I don't hate it, but it's not going on my favorites list. It's sued to have power blackouts in the Ukraine in mid-90s. Electricity companies didn't have enough capital for base electricity. Yeah. And yes, Putin is whether you want to call him fascist, authoritarian, he's a piece of shit. Yeah, well, that guy, that ex-prime minister was poisoned. He was a rival of Putin's. It's basically if you criticize Putin, mysteriously bad things happen to you. So yeah, I guess be happy, don't criticize Putin is the message here. Okay. Sorry. What's my views on billionaires trapped in the submarine? It's like super fucking weird how you can get rich people to do stupid fucking things if you tell them it's just a rich person thing. I flash back to that Fire Festival, supposed to be the ultimate music festival on an island somewhere, and it was a complete debacle, and all these super rich kids were having like the worst time, and it's just like, man, apparently it's real fucking easy to get rich people to go to an island and cut them off from the rest of the world. We should look into that. Justin, hey, first day of your mid-30s. Happy birthday to you. Ooh, that's what I was going to do. I got a new whiskey in the mail, and I'm going to try it. Oof. Okay, that's precarious. I don't want to leave that there. Put that there. Raymond B. Pure Corn Whiskey. So, this is from Western Australia, but I think it's fair to say it's made in a style that's very like American whiskies. Pure corn. What does it say? A remake of our Raymond B whiskey, the first ever paddock to bottle 100% pure corn whiskey from Australia, made using Ord Valley corn grown on our family farm. Old style fermentation and distilling techniques, aged for 2 years in oak barrels and charcoal filtered for a taste rich with creamy corn notes expressive of northern Australia. Kirsten, our resident expert on such things, informs me that this distillery has actually been distilling whiskey longer than anyone else in Australia. Most people think it's the Lark distillery in Tasmania, and Bill Lark certainly perpetuates that. Kirsten says this distillery has actually been doing it longer. Ooh, a screw top. That's really uncommon. A funny little top on this bottle. They're nearly always stoppers. Screw top's quite uncommon. Actually, oh man, that is a mellow sort of nose. I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna be professional. Get one of my professional-looking tasting glasses. Glencairn glass. See, this is the proper whiskey tasting glass. Glug, glug, glug. Yeah. So it's a very pale colour. It's a pale straw colour. Man, that is a really nice aroma. It's very gentle. Some whiskies are kind of harsh. Oh, well, I stuck my nose right in there. It burned the nostril hairs a little bit. Well, the fun thing, Justin, you think the lawsuit, the founder of the company is in there, so he's not going to get sued. I swear to fuck, I would have, before I lost consciousness. And that's the other thing, running out of air for, was it 5 people? The air's going to last longer if there's less people breathing. And certainly pretty soon after I realized this guy had killed me, I would fucking kill him. Yeah. So basically, I think within a day, like at the point where you're fucked and you've been fucked for a day, and you go, well, this is it. We're dying down here. There's no two ways about it. We're dying down here. All right. I'm going to fuck this guy up before I die. I would absolutely do that. I have no idea if I was attempting an accent. Safa, I just say weird things sometimes. It is really nice. I'm so bad at the words, though. Anyway, what does it taste like? Ooh, it's got a really toasty flavor as it goes down. And again, I think this is probably power of suggestion because they're going pure corn whiskey. It's kind of, I recently had charred corn on the cob at a place I went with Mrs. Angry for date night, and it was frigging awesome. It was really good. And oof, this is giving me memories of charred corn. And it's really sweet. Yeah, I honestly think it's probably the power of suggestion, but it is giving me vibes of this charred corn I had. Very good. So I'm not, yeah. Sorry, where'd this go? Strictly so you're saying the heart button covers the chat text. Not from where I'm seeing, but I'm not looking at it on YouTube. But Yeah, no, there was like we're talking about how unsafe that submersible was. They fired an employee because he raised safety concerns and whatever. It's like this. In case you haven't been reading up on it, here's the thing: they get in this tiny thing, close it up. Someone on the outside seals them in there, like tightens all these bolts and seals them in. So here's the thing: the submersible is very probably at the bottom of the ocean and probably never be found. But a possibility is they got lost, something wrong, but they got back to the surface. They still can't get out of there because you can only get out if someone on the outside lets you out. So they might have made it back to the surface, but still have run out of air because they're still sealed in there. It's all fucked up. Justin, did the Titanic have known safety issues? No, the Titanic, as one of the people who ran the company proudly said, was virtually unsinkable. Apparently, right up to the point you plow right into an iceberg, which honestly, that's a worst case scenario. And speaking as someone who focuses on disaster recovery from an IT perspective, people aren't good at entertaining a worst case scenario. People are very good at embracing a bad case. They said, oh, yeah, I can see it's a bad thing. So we did these things to stop the bad thing from happening. It's going, cool. But what about the worst thing? And they go, well, that's not very likely, is it? And go, no, it's not likely. It's possible. So what would you do if the absolute worst thing happened? And a lot of people, not good at embracing the possibility of a worst case scenario. That's pretty fucking nice, quite honestly. Oh, yeah, it's not bad. Not my favorite, but it's not bad. Might make an old fashioned with it. That's my classic thing to do. Make an old fashioned, see what that tastes like. I just make an old fashioned in the glass. But I'll be professional about it. Where's my jigger at? All right. We shall put a little bit of sugar syrup in. Yeah. Strict Saga, the Titanic. Again, it is a slight misquote because people often say that. I think it was like the head of the company or something said the Titanic's unsinkable. He actually said virtually unsinkable. Because nothing's unsinkable. Sorry, I actually just had a Doctor Who memory. Tom Baker's first episode, Robot, when they were trying to protect something from this giant robot, this sort of killer robot that's going around. The Brigadier tells Doctor the facility is impregnable. And the Doctor says, I don't like the word impregnable. It's too much like the word unsinkable. And the Brigadier says, really? He goes, yes, as the Titanic said to the iceberg. And the Brigadier goes, what? The Doctor goes, blub, 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 blub. Which again, poor taste, Doctor. You get cancelled for not being sympathetic enough to the people who died on the Titanic. Well, that's an interesting one, Strictly Sega. The Titanic's sister ship hit a mine in WW1. Strictly Sega, I'm not an expert, but water blocks a lot of things, and these dudes are going kilometers deep. Certain work, so I think there's an extremely strong chance GPS wouldn't. I mean, what they needed was an emergency thing on the exterior of submersible, that if there was an emergency, hit a button and it just like blasted a distress signal, which to the best of my knowledge, they don't have. Is they're fucking in a good way. Well, okay, here's the interesting thing, Safa, Titanic lifeboat. I don't know the specifics, but as I understand it, getting people to the lifeboats in Titanic time, a captain used the phrase "women and children first." I read that somewhere. I don't absolutely know if that's true, but I did read somewhere that the evacuation of the Titanic was the first time the captain said women and children first. Okay, Strictly Sega looked it up for us. GPS, Wi-Fi, radio don't work under the ocean. There you go. Yeah, so they didn't want that, but what they wanted is something that just sent out a distress beacon that could potentially work, but there was no safety features on the fucking thing. Oh, excuse me. Oh, yeah, that's good. Hoodlally, that's good. What's the fucking ABV on this? It's new. What is it? 25, 45. Okay, 90 proof. It's fucking tasty. It's good. It's good. I literally got that just because it was a third off, and it was just pure speculation on my point. So, Justin, you're saying there was a retired US carrier that military tried to sink? Demonstration how mighty the carriers. Yeah, it's weird they occasionally do that. Sometimes they deliberately sink decommissioned military ships and they like forming artificial reefs for them. It's like really good for sea life. And it also gives divers something to do. And yeah, they have to scuttle them. Usually they have to use explosives below the waterline, like blow fucking holes in the ship below the waterline to get it to sink. Strictly saying, we research, man. We're on the internet. We're on the goddamn internet. We don't have to have unanswered questions. Man, that makes a good fucking old fashioned. I will just throw that out there right now. That's pretty goddamn good old fashioned. And that might be my last. I might go and get some water. I thought I brought some soda water in here. I might go get some soda water to the end of the stream. I mean, people just fucking obsessed with war documentaries. All right, so Justin, with that aircraft carrier, saying they tried to externally bomb and torpedo it, and it didn't work. So they actually had to put explosives on. Yeah, the easiest thing is put explosives on the ship and blow holes in the hull below the waterline. Now, in combat, because the ships have fuel and munitions on them, of course, the nightmare scenario for Navy warships is a bomb or torpedo hits either their fuel or their magazine, or like their ammunition store. That happens, the fucking thing is sinking because there'll be a massive fucking explosion. That was always their biggest fear, that a bomb or torpedo hit the very explosive parts of the ship, and then the ship blows up from the inside. I don't think, because we were talking about war films a little bit earlier, talking about Fury, naval battle war films. One from a couple of years ago, Midway, on the famous Battle of Midway. That was pretty good, actually. I didn't mind that one. So, but yeah, that's a very interesting thing with how intense a naval battle could be when there's aircraft carriers involved. One of the pivotal naval battles of World War II, the turning of the tide in the Pacific, basically. Should we say, is that in terms of Midway movies? Because I know there's been a few in the past. Safra, I think you might be right that the Midway film was in the cinemas just before COVID. That sounds about right. Musical Aviator. Hello from Extra Band Rehearsal. Hope band rehearsal's going well. Yeah, Justin, I'm assuming a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. If they're scuttling it, they're taking all the nuclear fuel off. A whole different kettle of fish if a nuclear-powered submarine or aircraft carrier was in an actual conflict and got sunk. That has a whole lot of nasty implications. All right. Trusting your film buff knowledge here, Strictly Sega, the Roland Emmerich one, which was the one I saw. So with the original one, when was that made? Jack Smite. I don't know who that is. Oh yeah, no, the one I saw was definitely really getting into their special effects. I mean, I still liked it, but yeah, it's a whole thing. But again, because with the old films, they couldn't do over the top special effects, so they had to focus on story and character. And it is definitely, you get sometimes questionable results where films lean too heavily into the special effects, so less focus is put on character and story. Mm. But, this is our world. What are you going to do? Yes. Yeah, I know the director, Roland Emmerich. Yeah. Oh, God, Moonfall. Oh, Jesus, what a movie that was. Honestly. Independence Day was fun, though. Oh, yeah, God, and he did that original Godzilla. Obviously not original Godzilla, but in Hollywood terms, the attempt to, relaunch Godzilla. Yeah. Yes, the epic special effects director. Moonfall, fuck me, honestly. Because there was some interesting ideas in Moonfall, but it absolutely was not coherent. Justin, a war with China would fuck us all. Would be catastrophic, um, and result in millions of deaths. There is no question whatsoever. A war with China would uh, kill millions of people. And when I see political hacks just talking about it really glibly, I just want to fuck them up. It's just like, no, you don't get to glibly talk about, we can't put up with this from China. We have to have a military response. It's like, get fucked, you fucking monster. You absolute fucking monster. You are just really glibly talking about something that would kill, at a minimum, millions of people. You are fucking garbage. Strictly Sega, in my humble opinion, no one would win. I think it would be catastrophic, and it would just fuck the world up for a century to come. It's just, ugh. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare scenario. It's and when I see people just glibly talking about, oh, we should do this to China and this China, it's just like, fuck you, absolutely, fuck you. All right, where are we? Okay, I am going to get a little bottle of soda water. Again, I probably won't even put anything on because it's only going to take me 30 seconds. Just got to dash out to the kitchen. Und it'll probably only take like 30 seconds. I'll be back. Message me when you're going to bed, okay? Here I come now. Hey, honey, how you doing, man? Oh, God, Strictly Sega, the subs. That whole sub thing with Australia, I hate that so much. It's such a waste of money. It's despicable. No, right, okay, sure. It's the struggle of the anti-fascists, and we're commemorating fighting the fascists. And now I'm drinking soda water with blood orange and sage. Because that's yummy. Is there anything left in this? Any water in a row? Okay. So when I said yummy, I'm assuming this is not just me, but weird shit is stuck in my head. And that's, both recent and 10 years ago and from my fucking childhood. Okay, so my dad had some comedy records. There was a Benny Hill album. He had a couple of Bill Cosby albums, and he had this little, probably what we'd call a box set now. It's a collection of vinyl of the Stan Freberg Show, which was a comedy radio show from the 1960s in America, and some of it was very funny. And there's one bit where he's talking a bit with the radio show, and he goes, "Our sponsor today is food. Are you hungry? Have you tried food?" And then there's a little jingle with this thing, "Food in your tummy tastes yum, yum, yummy, yum, 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 yummy, yum, yum. If you haven't got teeth to chew it up, you can gum it with your gummy gums." And that's still in my head. That's a thing I fucking listened to, I don't know, 45 years ago. Still in my head. Dr. Abigail, in too much pain, and you've got your opioids. Well, that's okay. So hopefully you're on a level playing field by the time you have to fight for Taylor Swift tickets. Strictly Sega, if you like, okay, the actual dry ginger ale I had, which you can get in some shops, Fever Tree Spiced Orange Dry Ginger Ale, fucking rocks. And the drink I had was pretty good, but that ginger ale is a really good mixer. It goes really well with gin. It goes really well with rum. It's fucking awesome. So what's this referencing to Yugoslavian? Went out for dinner, night of the first eviction of Big Brother. They walked down the catwalk and Greta trips over and says, "Here we go." Yeah, no, Safa. Seriously, shit. And we go back further. There's Sesame Street shit I watched 50 years ago that's still in my head. All right, so your waitress delivered pizza, went Yumbo, little catchphrase. Here we go, Yumbo. Nice. That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah, I can still fucking quote songs from Sesame Street. Like the one that really sticks in my head is the really trippy pinball machine animation that started with the thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh my god! So, like, because I watched, because Sesame Street used to be in the morning and the afternoon on the ABC, and I watched a fuck ton of TV, shitty TV as a kid. Franco Cozzo. Franco Cozzo, the height of Franco Cozzo really predates me living in Melbourne, but I also got to meet Franco Cozzo. This was about, how many years ago? It's when I was working at Victoria University. It was about 5 years ago. I got a picture. I was, just because weirdness with trams and buses and whatnot, I was walking this bit, and the old Franco Cozzo showroom, which I don't think is a Franco Cozzo showroom anymore, has this massive fucking mural of Franco Cozzo with his arms out, because that's the thing they did in dance. He goes, "Grande sale, grande sale, grande sale." And I was walking up, and I was like, and I took a picture. It's like, that's a cool bit. That's a cool mural. And so walking out, and there was this dude like washing his car underneath it. And I got closer and I went, "Oh, it's Franco Cozzo. It's the real Franco Cozzo." And I went up to him and said, "How you doing?" And he was just fucking lovely. He was such a nice guy. And and I had a little chat with him, and I just said, "Look, I'm going to ask you for something. You don't have to do it, but this would mean a lot to me. If I could get a picture of you standing under the giant mural of you, and you hold your arms out as well." He goes, "Of course, my friend." And he did it, and I've got the picture, and I've still got it. And it's the most Melbourne thing that has ever happened to me, meeting Franco Cozzo and getting him to pose under the giant mural. It's just fucking magic. Okay, that was really weird. I hit the side button on my mouse and I disappeared out of this. That was weird. I want to see if the Franco Cozzo photo is still on my phone. I'll see if I can find it. It's way back. It's an old photo. Uh, do. It's kind of like I don't know where to look from. This is probably a bad idea that I just stare at this for a long time. There's a lot of photos of AIDSy on my phone, actually. Safra, I'm probably barely half Tim Smithed, actually. I just bumped a button on the side of my. Oh, I found it. Okay, I was going to hold the phone up. That's the thing. I'll put it on. I'll put it on Discord. I'm going to put it on Discord. Share in Angry as a server. Share to general. All right. Post. Posting that to Discord. And then I can share it properly on the stream. So like this, okay, this is a gaming mouse. You can see it's even got the RGB happening, but it's got 2 buttons on the side and a left and right button and a scroll in it. And I bumped one of the buttons on the side, and that was apparently like hitting the back key a couple of times. So, goddamn. All right. So we get the Franco Cozzo picture. Oh, so fucking good. Okay, so I'll share this. Where are we? So that's the mural, giant Franco Cozzo mural, and that's the real Franco Cozzo standing at the bottom. We zoom in. That's Franco Cozzo. He was so cool. He was such a lovely guy. He's so cool. Mural Franco Cozzo, real Franco Cozzo. Such a cool guy. Again, I love this picture. Just giant mural of Franco Cozzo with the real Franco Cozzo underneath it. Fucking awesome. I love that I just chanced upon him that day. It was so good. Luke, how are you doing, man? Safa, best picture ever, best Melbourne picture ever. That's like peak fucking Melbourne. That's just incredible. Ooh, I tell you what, as my taste buds have been kind of overwhelmed by the most cocktails I had tonight. So just the comparatively lighter and refreshing flavored soda water. Tastes very nice. Ooh, Luke, you posted a Melbourne photo. Okay, let me find it. What did you post? Oh, actually, okay. No. Yeah, you're on the money, bro. You're on the money. Let me see. Melbourne photo, tram in front of Luna Park. Okay. That's pretty Melbourne. Safar asking, did I have a Sydney photo? I had a photo when I went to Sydney for a YouTube thing, and the event was actually in the function centre at Luna Park. I got a photo that says like Luna Park, there's a Luna Park Ferris wheel and a ferry going under the harbour bridge. I thought that, and you can see the Opera House in the background. So I thought that was a peak Sydney photo. You can see we're in Luna Park, ferry, harbour bridge, and Opera House in the background. Luke, you're saying that's an E. Everyone's arguing about what class tram it is. Luke, you're saying it's an E class. I don't know. I don't know myself. So, oh, Safi, you walked on the Harbour Bridge in 2008. Yeah, when they've done those public things, everyone can walk on the Harbour Bridge. I stayed so far away from them. It was just like, just being in a press of people that big. I mean, mind you, I fucking did it in Melbourne for White Night when White Night was a really big thing. Like the videos I have of that, just this incredible press of people. Oh, way too much. Way too fucking much. But yeah. Okay, so you can say, yeah, you've been too long out of Melbourne to get the trams right. Well, it was Luke took the picture. I'm going to trust Luke that that's an E-class tram. I live in Melbourne. I have no idea. Sorry, God, it just reminded me of a story I did tell on a previous stream about someone I knew who'd been going through tram driver training and they didn't pass because they had like 3 accidents in their training and they just went, no, you're kind of fucked. You can't be a tram driver. And they took that as a slight. And I was going like, I don't know, 3 accidents in your training, maybe you're wrong. And it also reminded me, when I was at uni, there was this guy, uh, he was a mature age student, and he was a fucking prick, quite honestly. Uh, and used to try and like physically threaten people and whatnot. And he did it on me once, and I was like, whatever, man. You gonna hit me? Fucking hit me then. Otherwise, fuck off. And of course, he's not going to hit me because he'd get expelled from uni if he hit me. So I was just like, I don't know, man. You're sitting here like threatening me over something. And it was like, suck my dick or punch me or fuck off. And he fucked off. But well, he was telling a story. He's saying he was in, again, he might have been lying, but anyway, he tells the story. He was in the RAF pilot training thing, and they have training planes they put you in before they put you in an actual jet. And apparently he crashed 2 of them. He had to bail out twice. And so he got rejected from the training program because he crashed 2 of the training planes. And when he told the story, he's trying to make it like it was the RAF who were jerks, and he would have been fine if they let him go. It was just like, I don't know, man, you fucking crashed multiple training planes. And so behind his back, we used to call him Captain Bailout. Okay, I'm getting lots of Discord beeps. Oh, okay, I like this. I'll share it. That's strictly Sega's mental image of a Melbourne tram. That is definitely a couple of generations ago. There's probably a couple of those still in service, actually. And you can get on the city circle. It's an old red rattler. Strictly Sega did a link to. Oh, okay. That's an actual scale model you posted a picture of. Okay, cool. Oh, and in Discord now there's a discussion about the movie Malcolm, which I've never actually seen. I know the movie. Colin, what's his name? Was in so much stuff in the 80s and 90s. I was going to say Colin Firth, but that's an English actor. And I've never watched Malcolm. I really should. I've only ever seen bits of it. Like the character of Malcolm is like, an autistic genius, basically. I know there was some funny shit with the cops in that because the cops are real assholes in that movie. But yeah, got all the classic Aussie films that came out in the 80s and 90s. Wowzers. Yes, strictly Sega. The City Circle tram is like one of the old red rattlers. It still runs. In fact, the City Circle, I'm not far from my work when I'm in the office, which is not that. In fact, I haven't been in there in 2 weeks. I'll probably go in on Monday to say, yeah, I haven't been here for 2 weeks because fuck going into the office. But now I'm putting in a showing. But I had legit reasons. It's because like sick people in the house, and it was sick people with contagious illnesses, and I was going, well, no one wants me to go into the office and make them sick, so I didn't go into the office because it fucking make people sick. Yes, okay, that's the thing. Yes, so Malcolm's autistic. And here's a bank robber move in with him, which encourages him to build tricks to rob banks. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And he's like an engineering genius, if I remember rightly. Strictly Sega. The City Circle Tram W class. See, tram memorabilia. This is all stuff I'm like, oh, okay, I don't actually know any of this. Tell you what, though, on my line, or actually, there's a couple lines I can get, but yeah, there's part of it's got bus replacements, not where I am, but because of level crossing removal works, which is cutting off the tram tracks. But for whatever reason, and I'm assuming it's because people can't get trains there because the level crossing works. And if they get a connection to where the tram is, there's longer trams than there used to be. Used to be like the single size trams, and now it's the double size ones with the flexi bit in the middle. Look at me with my technical terms. God damn. So, and I don't know what class they are either, but so yeah, but I am looking forward to, I don't know, somewhere towards the end of this year, August, September, or later. I think it's September or later, when this level crossing removal is done and trains and trams are running normally. It may be back to a point where it's easier and quicker for me to drive to a train station and park there for the day and get the train into the city. While sort of level crossing work has been happening, it's been too much of a pain in the ass. And although a tram is arguably slower, it's also less fucking hassle. It's kind of funny because in various tram trips I've had, when they go past a train station, often a bunch of people will get off the tram to get on the train because they go, well, the train will get me into the city faster. And you're probably right, but it's just like, oh man, I cannot be fucking bothered. I'm just going to sit on the tram. It's easier. And yes, I do remember Malcolm winning awards. Oh, good. I'm also thinking of other film from the same general era, and one that sticks in my mind is Sam Neill in Death in Brunswick. I fucking love that movie. That movie's so fucking weird. Oh dear. It's I feel like, yeah, I want to rewatch like 80s and 90s Australian films and see if they hold up. Like watch something like The Big Steal that has young Ben Mendelsohn and Claudia Carvan in it. Claudia Carvan, one of my unresolved youthful crushes, uh, and see if those films still hold up. Things like, yeah, the Big Steal and Death in Brunswick and Malcolm and whatnot. There was a bunch. There were some really quite good films, and of course, in and around that period, you get Romper Stomper, Russell Crowe's first big film, where he plays a neo-Nazi. Yikes! And also, that was the weird thing. Like, I saw Romper Stomper when it came out, and it's set in Melbourne. I was living in Sydney, so I didn't know Melbourne at all. So the suburban stuff didn't mean anything to me. It's like, good, cool movie. And then when I'd lived in Melbourne for a while, I think I must have watched Romper Stomper again on video. And like it's set in Footscray. And the big thing with the neo-Nazis, they were worried that too many Asians were going to be in Footscray. And now 10 years after where it's set, it's going like, well, you lost that one, didn't you, you Nazi fuckheads? Why don't I resolve that crush? Because I think I think both Claudia Carvan and Mrs. Angry might have issues with me resolving that crush. Because I don't know what resolving a crush means to you, but to me, the phrase resolving a crush means fucking the person that you have a crush on. So I believe both Claudia Carvan and Mrs. Angry would have issues with doing that. My other big unresolved 80s, 90s crush is Susie Higgy, lead singer of The Falling Joys. That's a bit more obscure. That is a little bit more obscure. I actually met and in fact interviewed Susie Higgy when they played at uni where I was. Never met Claudia Carvan though. So yeah, there you go. That's just the way these things go sometimes, I guess. Oh dear. Honestly, I was just thinking there's probably a shit ton of unresolved 80s, 90s crushes. It's really not. There's those two. 500 things that polyamory would solve. Honestly, okay, to be really specific, I don't think Claudia Carvan's objection would have anything to do with what affinity she does or doesn't have with polyamory. I think it would just be Claudia Carvan wanting nothing to do with me. I'm just throwing it out there. Oh, Strictly Sega, Rose Byrne, class crush. She's a bit younger, so I'm thinking of youthful crushes. And Rose Byrne, excellent person to have a crush on, talented and gorgeous. Oh my god! And I'm okay. Now you bring her up. I'm thinking of Two Hands, the that great Aussie crime flick. Oh my gosh, that is so good, and she is so good in it. Safa, another excellent '90s crush. Mila Jovovich, however you pronounce her name. Lilu from Fifth Element, excellent '90s crush. Well, there you go. See, but there's also you're much younger than me, Strictly Sega. So yeah, I was talking from my perspective. Rose Byrne is too young to have been a youthful crush of mine. Oh god, I am absolutely blanking on the dude from Two Hands who was the Joker, and it's really freaking me out that I'm blanking on his name. Yeah, it's a central thing, particularly for comedies, but also sometimes in dramas that there wouldn't be any conflict if they embraced polyamory. Yeah. Luke, what's the news of this? The submersibles, they're dead. They are definitely dead. Thank you, Strictly Say Heath Ledger. That it was fucking doing my head in that I couldn't remember his name. But Heath Ledger, legend. But yeah, the particularly one bit with Rose Byrne and Heath Ledger in Two Hands. He's got a camera and he's taking photos, and she poses for him. And there's one pose she does, and he takes a picture, and it's beautifully done because she just looks amazing. And when he takes the picture, and he just kind of looks up from the camera like, "Oh my god," because she's just amazing. And of course, Brian Brown's in that as the crime boss, and he's really good. And he's kind of fucking henchman. He's a guy who's a classic that guy. He's in so many Australian films. God, he was in the streaming series of Preacher, a lot of which was about half of which was shot in Australia, and he played an angel. Oh God, yes, her pixie haircut in Two Hands. Oh my God. Yes, the dude who washed the bullets in the washing machine, which ended up being a major plot point. What? Okay, and he did really funny ads for flavored milk as well. All right, I need to know his name. He's that guy. He's done so much. He's in so many good things. David Field. Really simple name. David Field. Actor, director, and oak lover. There you go. He's only a little bit older than me. All right, now David Field's filmography. I'm looking up. And he's directed a couple of things. Okay, the combination. Oh, The Combination was a good movie. Damn, that was a good movie about the Muslim kids in the suburbs. Yes, okay. He was in Ghosts of the Civil Dead. I remember him in that. Jesus Christ, he was in Broken Highway, David Lynch film. Dead and Dave on our selection. Jesus. Yeah, Two Hands as Akko. He's in Black Rock. Oh God, he's in Getting Square. That's The Night We Called It a Day, the movie about Frank Sinatra. There you go. Does anything like God? He's done. He's just been working non-stop since 1988. He's just been working non-fucking stop. He's in the In-Betweeners movie. My God. He was in Mortal Kombat, the 2021 Mortal Kombat. And there's a film that's going to come out later this year called Dark Art he's in. But also, he's done a shit ton of TV. He was in Sons and Daughters. Nice. And A Country Practice, and Home and Away, and Police Rescue. My God. And Stingers and Blue Heelers. God, he was in one episode of Farscape. Jesus. 2 episodes of Wilfred. 1 episode of Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries. Yep, 7 episodes of Preacher. Oh, he's in 10 Pound Poms, which is a new one that's just streaming now. God, the dude's fucking worked non-stop for 45 years. Oh, yes, Mad Dog Morgan, which I still haven't gone back and watched. I've kind of got bookmarked on Prime. Dennis Hopper playing an Irish-Australian bushranger. Oh, yes, Strictly Sega. I think you'd like The Combination, because The Combination, it's a whole thing about like algebra was an Arabic invention, and it's algebra, The Combination. Really good film about Muslim migrant kids in the western suburbs. Very good. You mean Nick Cave rather than Nick Cage? Yeah, Ghosts of the Civil Dead was fucked up. That's a 80s or 90s film about prison in Australia. It's inspired by this deeply fucked up prison called Jaika. Was a maximum security thing where everything was featureless, and it was literally driving prisoners insane. Like, it's terrible. It's the panopticon, constant surveillance, featureless thing. It's the big thing about, we believe this will keep prisoners under control. It actually literally drove them insane. And the thing is, they eventually get released back into society. And Ghost of the Civil Dead is half actors and half actual ex-cons. So very interesting. Also fucked up. Nick Cave's in it, playing a very sort of deranged serial killer character who abuses everyone because he's trying to get someone to kill him, essentially. It's real weird. So, you're talking about, that was Al Pacino, I think, wasn't it? That or was it Robert De Niro? It was like Al Pacino or Robert De Niro fathered a child in the fucking 80s or something. It's ridiculous. Oh, sorry. I was missing something in the chat. Yeah, Strictly Sega, The Night We Called It a Day. It's a dramatization of when Frank Sinatra toured Australia in the 70s and was an asshole and ended up getting blackballed by the unions. The movie version of it, Dennis Hopper plays Frank Sinatra. Yes. Again, I've not watched that entire movie. I've seen bits of it though. Oof. Yes, and what an event that was. Is basically Frank Sinatra insulted a woman journalist, and all the journalists were like, fuck you, we're not going to cover your tour unless you apologize. So the journalist union blackballed Frank Sinatra, and he's like, I don't care. But then other unions blackballed him in solidarity, including the the union workers who he needed to run his show, and the airlines, and they like wouldn't fly him anywhere. So all the unions joined in on it, and Bob Hawke literally brokered a peace deal. Well, okay, I said a woman journalist because his insults were specifically gendered and gross and insulting. So he insulted her because she was a woman, and he used gendered insults on her. But all the journalists banded together and went, fuck this guy. And then a whole bunch of other unions joined in blackballing him. So also he couldn't get room service in his hotel because the hotel staff, who were all union, had blackballed him. He couldn't actually do his shows because all the workers who he needed to put things together for a show had blackballed him, and he couldn't leave the city he was in because he'd been blackballed by the airline unions. It's just fucking funny. And yeah, weirdly, it was Bob Hawke, who I think he was ACTU president at that time, but it was Bob Hawke who brokered the peace deal. such a weird fucking thing. Oh dear. So yeah, Australia in the 70s. What the hey? Oh god, now I'm just relating everything to movies. There's another Australian crime movie which is really good. It's inspired by an actual real photo of an American mobster in Australia, and it's like he'd been taken ruse shooting with some Australian organized crime people, and no one ever really knew what the fuck was this. He's like from the Chicago mob, and it's like, what the fuck is this guy doing in Australia? And he's gone out ruse shooting with Australian crims. What the fuck was that about? And no one ever really knew what's happening. There's a movie, I think it's Dirty Deeds. Like Brian Brown's done so many crime films. I think this one is Dirty Deeds, and John Goodman plays the American mobster. He's got some sidekick with him, but it's mainly John Goodman. So they dramatized it. The idea was that the American mob was going to try and like move into Australia, form an alliance with Australian organized crime. It was never established in real life why this Chicago mobster was in Australia, but that's the fiction that's in this movie. And Brian Brown is the heavy in the Australian crime scene. Fun movie, though. Very fun movie, Dirty Deeds. It's kind of like any crime film that's got Brian Brown in it is probably going to be entertaining. Two Hands, Dirty Deeds, The Dead Heart. He's actually a cop in The Dead Heart. It's not really a crime film. Oh yeah, the back alleys and the shit pots. That is actually, they just did it. Melbourne is still full of these cobbled back alleys behind houses, and a lot of people don't realize the main purpose of that was night soil collection. There was no plumbing. People had outside shit houses where you were just shitting into a fucking big 44-gallon drum, basically, and then you would sort of put that out the back, and the night soil men would come and collect the big things of shit and put it in the back of the truck. And there's a chase scene down these alleys with the fucking shit pots are out there and the car just crashes into them. So the car just gets sprayed in shit because they're in this weird bit of Melbourne history. Yeah, a lot of the inner suburbs still have these little laneways behind the houses, which was specifically for picking up shit. Hey, that's a whole thing, really, isn't it? I love how they worked it into the movie. They're just like, I've always been fascinated by these little laneways behind the houses that were there to pick up shit. So this is set in the 60s. That was still happening. There were still people who didn't have plumbing and the shit was still being picked up. Let's do it. Let's have a chase down there and hit one of the things full of shit. So shit just sprays. Oh my God. That just actually reminded me. I got this email from Twitch during the week about ways you might have to classify your live streams. As like if there's like, I don't know, adult content. So you can't do like straight up porn. And it's always funny when someone tries to describe sexual things in dry ways and they're just saying about, you can't focus on breasts or crotch or buttocks. And you can't be doing drugs. Actually, alcohol. Maybe I should even mention alcohol in my stream description. But there was one about excessive swearing. And it's like if you say fuck, shit, cunt every other sentence, you should put that in the description, the regular profanity. And say, well, I don't say it every second sentence, but sometimes I say it 10 times in one sentence, and maybe I should do that. How did I find out about the laneways behind the houses? Well, they exist. They existed in suburbs where I lived. I was like, well, that's really interesting. And I don't think I looked it up. I think someone told me. Those laneways were for picking up night soil. And that was the phrase, night soil. Then I saw this Brian Brown movie where they did it. It was so funny. But yeah, there's still like Footscray where I used to, and I think that's actually where the bit in Dirty Deeds was shot, in Footscray. There's a few suburbs that still have these little laneways behind houses. So I'm assuming Sydney had the same thing. But I wouldn't, swear to it on a second purpose. Yeah, you knew about the night saw men, the laneways that facilitated them. It's because when first suburb I lived in Melbourne was Footscray. There's a few areas in and around Footscray that have these laneways, and I was kind of fascinated by them. And someone told me, or I looked it up, that was for the night soil men. Up until relatively recently. So yeah, plumbing only became a thing in the 60s, and universal plumbing only became a thing in the 60s and 70s. So there you go. And out on the perimeter suburbs, it's still not. Having worked for one of the water authorities in my many years as a contractor, I worked for Yarra Valley Water at one point, and they still have an issue with people on the perimeter suburbs who aren't connected to the sewage system, and they theoretically have septic tanks, but in a lot of cases they're so badly maintained or even don't really exist. The effluent from these houses just flows untreated into streams that feed straight into the Yarra, which is not good. Or even the people who have functional septic tanks, if there's really heavy rain, that fills up the septic tanks and makes them overflow. And again, the effluent flows straight into streams, which lead straight into the Yarra, which is bad. So was Footscray scary 20 years ago when I moved there? Well, I like to retell the story of when we were moving here, because we moved here because the babysitters were here. And so when I was in Sydney looking at where will we move to, I was like, okay, so your parents are out in St Albans, which is the fuck out in the western suburbs, and I am not living the fuck out in the western suburbs. And I just looked at the map and I was going, okay, well, I could do it halfway. What's halfway between St Albans and the city? And that was basically Footscray. And so I said, I think we should live in Footscray, which was pretty wild and rough at the time. And I remember my ex's sister, who was a teenager at the time, saying, oh, Footscray, there's been shootings there. And I misheard her. And I thought she said, there's lesbian shootings there. And I went, okay. And I go, wait. And the look on her face when I said that, I said, wait, is that lesbians being shot or lesbians shooting people? She's like, what the fuck? And I was like, you said there were lesbian shootings there. And I said, no, there's been lesbian. So there's been shootings there. But yeah, I heard lesbian shootings there. And I went, well, okay. If there's lesbians being shot, that's bad and unfortunate, but not much effect on me. But if there's angry lesbians going around shooting people, I could definitely be at risk. So I need to understand the context of lesbian shootings. And she just looked at me like, you're a goddamn idiot. But yeah, someone did get murdered at the service station that was just on the corner from where I lived there. That was a fun thing to see. I used to get a neighborhood watch newsletter, and it was normally just like burglary, car theft, break and enter. And one month it was like burglary, car theft, murder. And I went, wait, what the fuck was the murder? And looked up and yeah, there's some domestic had happened, and one party had left this family party where a domestic was happening, but then someone followed them and they were at this service station filling up. And this person came up and stabbed them to death. Lesbian shootings in Eastern Collingwood. I don't travel around there. Well, see, and like I said, it comes down to who needs to be worried. If someone talks about lesbian shootings, we need to understand, well, is it lesbians being shot or lesbians shooting people? Because different people are at risk in those two scenarios. And honestly, yeah, again, my ex-sister-in-law, she was right to look at me like I was a goddamn idiot. Because really, that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I do, that's me. Sometimes I do things, say things that are ridiculous. What honestly. Yeah, see, Safra, I wouldn't be comfortable regional Vic to Footscray in the late 90s. That would be unsettling. That would be unsettling. At least I was going from Sydney to Footscray. And I mean, like, I fucking lived in Redfern. I mean, I'd moved a bit further out into the suburbs in the end, but I lived like Redfern, Chippendale for quite a few years. And at the time, late 80s, early 90s, that was an area that freaked people out. Yeah, also, Dr. Abigail, I agree. Life would be a lot less difficult if more people just looked at me like, why did you say that, you idiot? It would just, it's just a shortcut to have that as your starting point. Oh my God, the stopper broke. It's still in there. Well, that's fucked then. I mean, I could try gluing it back in, but I've learned from experience, these things really aren't meant to be reused as much as I reuse them. I like to reuse them because the bottles are cute. Oh, Rays. Sorry you were late. You're floating around the Titanic in a butt flashlight. Yeah, there you go. That's fair. Oh, God damn it. I'm never going to get... I was going to have a little drink of my clarified cocktail, and now it's not going to happen. It's really funny watching the people in the media and social media going, "Look, it's terrible how callous people are being about the billionaires dying at the bottom of the ocean." And it's like, is it? Is it really? Is it? So, but look, again, the mafia wars affected no one except the actual crims. And also, if they were your immediate neighbor, that would have been unsettling. Sort of like bang, bang, bang. RAs, you're going to do another playthrough of Skyrim? I still haven't played Skyrim. We've got it for the PS4. I should play it at some point. Mrs. Angry does way more gaming than me. All right, I do want to see my absinthe bottle with the fairy on it. I like that. Well, yeah, that's not completely unreasonable, Raise, but I mean, there was some pretty large scale organized crime happening with the people that were killing each other. I mean, they were broadly fucking idiots. I can say that because they're all dead. They can't come back at me. But yeah, it was kind of ridiculous. Like I said, was it like 13 people killed over 10 years? And it was like a huge deal. It was always fun to say to Americans from big cities like Chicago or LA or something. So if there was a gang war, because Razor was your relatives, nice. Um, like saying to Americans in places like, Chicago, LA, like, hey, if there was a gang war about drugs and turf and they were killing each other, how long would it take for them to kill 13 people? And they go, I don't know, a weekend? Yeah, here it took 10 years and we treated it like it was a big deal. And they're like, 10 years? How did you even remember that there was any connection to stuff if it took 10 years for it all to happen? I mean, yeah, I know. It's just the same fucking families. It's funny the things that I think. Yes. Well, I was saying, like, I was being generous. Chicago, if there was, I asked someone from a hard part of Chicago, like, yeah, if there was an actual drug war between various criminal gangs, how long would it take him to kill 30 people? And they were like, a weekend. Yeah. We thought it was a big deal when it happened over 10 years. And I mean, it's not good. It's not good. But yeah. It's a whole thing. Yeah, we're running a little bit later. I'm not going to run much longer because I do actually have to run a workshop tomorrow morning or 10 o'clock. That's it. I have to hold it together. I mean, I've got other shit to do, is like, writing stuff and emailing stuff, and that's fine. But actual interactions with humans where I have to hold it together, there's like 1 hour, like 10 to 11 tomorrow morning. I've got to be Mr. Responsible. If I can hold it together for that 1 hour, the rest of the day is gravy. So, having said that, I'm not going to stay up much longer. No, I don't remember what Carl Williams used an exercise bike. Oh god, what fucking Carl Williams, his whole family. Oh my god. I was just, ugh. Preface, anyone who was involved in that who's still alive, I'm not mocking you. You're the cool ones. I'm mocking the dead people. And not if you're watching it and dead people from your family, not dead people from your family, the ones you don't like. I'm only mocking the ones you don't like. Oh god, speaking just generally, yeah, Carl Williams specifically, and other crime figures, the fucking Lawyer X thing. There was another article about it in the news the investigator into the Lawyer X thing. And for those who missed it, the Victorian police actually convinced a mob lawyer, and her surname, hilarious, is Gobbo, which is just such a fucking fun name. Gobbo. So many Gobbos. They convinced her to actually be a witness against her clients, which is just completely against the law. And they did it anyway, and they got found out. You're mocking the dead Williams crew. Well, they were a bunch of fuck-ups, honestly. But yeah, she was Carl Williams's lawyer. And yeah, at one point, Carl Williams threatened to kill her because he thought she was a grass, and she was. And that whole Lawyer X thing kind of cracks me up because, particularly when we watch the American crime shows, the whole lawyer-client confidentiality thing is made a big deal of because, yeah, lawyers aren't meant to breach confidentiality. But yeah, this woman who was a lawyer for mobsters was giving evidence to cops. It's completely illegal. And when it finally came to light, it ended up with some very high-profile convictions being quashed, even if the people were completely fucking guilty. It's like, oh no, you broke the law by getting evidence from their lawyer. Oh my God. I think she's still in hiding. There's a bunch of people who probably still want to kill her. Ugh. So I have to decide what to do. Okay, for anyone who missed it earlier, these funny boxes, which I've opened, I bought some stuff that was on massive sale from a website called White Possum. Now, they're the people I get these barrels from. And I actually took some stuff out of one of the barrels tonight. Not tasting it tonight because I've had enough to drink. I'll probably do it tomorrow night, though. I aged Starward Twofold whiskey for 2 months in one of these barrels, and it changed quite a bit. It's much darker. I'm going to do a taste thing tomorrow, probably a video. But White Possum do this thing occasionally where they go, oh, look, we cleaned out some of our storage and we found some shit we didn't know was there, and we want to sell it, so we're going to sell it really cheap to clear it out. I got a bottle of whiskey, which I tasted earlier. This beauty. Pure corn whiskey from Western Australia. It's actually pretty nice. But mystery samples. Each of these has a 30 ml sample of an Australian spirit. And I don't know what it is. They are labeled. I haven't looked at the labels. So I was thinking I could do a video where I don't look at what's on the labels and I pour it in the glasses, and then I try and guess what sort of spirit it is. Not the actual specific thing, like, because I'm shithouse at this. Like, if it's brown, like it's going to be, okay, it's going to be whiskey or rum or brandy. And can I just tell? Because I'm actually, and if it's clear, it's going to be like gin or vodka or maybe white rum. And because I'm actually super bad at guessing that sort of thing, I thought it might be kind of funny if I set them up and pour it in little things and blind taste them, and we'll see what kind of idiot I am because I can't even tell the type of spirit they are. But I might do that tomorrow. Oh God, I did the repeat thing. We don't do bingo apart from Friday nights now. I don't know why I do that. It's a big question. Why do you repeat things? I don't know. To emphasize, maybe? Who knows? Speaking of bingo card things, I think I may officially sign off the stream by consuming the cherry. Love the cherry. Man, that is so fucking yummy. Oh, stuff. Actually, I had chicken. Last night was nominated. There was a chicken place, which was about halfway on the trip over to where the offspring live. And it was good. There were fried chicken, chicken burgers, chips. It was good, actually. Yeah. Heidi, sadly, it's usually not witticisms that I repeat. I just repeat things. Oh, look at me, psychic. I asked Mrs. Angry to message me when she's going to bed, and she's doing it now. I've already done sign up. The consumption of the cherry has happened. We're back for party night tomorrow night. Might do the blind tasting of these, see how that goes. I'm going to do a comparison of my barrel-aged twofold with regular twofold and a few other things. We'll see what happens. I'm going sleepy babos. You all take care.